It's your man Jay Graves Report, and welcome to the College Football Weekly Wrap-Up, Week 3. Y'all know how we get it in, so let's get it in. Wrapping up the top 5 ball games of the weekend, so let's get right to it. Now, here we go. First ball game, we got Colorado going out to play number 4, the Michigan Wolverines, or the Michigan Booger Snatchers. Oh, Don Jim Harbaugh had these boys ready to play. Now, I will say this. Michigan wins this ball game 45-28, but Colorado came to play. These boys, you figured Colorado was going to go out there and just lay down. They at least put up 28 points, but Michigan is rolling right now. I guess the booger died for Jim Harbaugh working for these boys. What I want to know is how many other cats on staff eating boogers. Now, here's the deal. Wilton Speight was 16 of 30. 229 yards, a touchdown. But the most impressive piece about the Michigan offense is the fact that they running the football, bruh. They got a plethora of running backs. Let me say that. Plethora. I know you boys thought I didn't know that what plethora meant. They got Davion Smith, Jehu Chesson, Jabril Peppers, Ty Isaac, and they've got my homeboy, Chris Evans running the rock. Hey, they got a plethora of boys running the rock. They putting in work. Michigan is going to be the real deal this year. As long as we can keep Jim Harbaugh with a steady diet of boogers. And that better not lie and say he didn't eat none yesterday. Because you know they had all the camera, the slow-mo camera on him. So give me a couple of days, I'll be able to find the slow-mo camera on Jim Harbaugh. Hey, let's move on to the next ball game. Now, we go up to South Bend. We had number 12, Michigan State, shows up to play number 18, Notre Dame fighting Chamillionaires. Now, Michigan State wins this ball game 36-28. Tyler O'Connor from Michigan State had 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, threw a dub pick. But here was the most impressive piece, once again, about this ball game in Michigan State. Michigan State had 260 yards on the ground, bruh. Gerald Holmes, 13 carries, 100 yards. When you got boys that can run the rock, it creates all kind of problems. Even though Deshaun Kaiser, the Black Dutchman, or German, played a very good game. That done was 344 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw 1 dub pick. But you can't come off when a boy is running the rock the way he's doing because he burning clock. Time of possession is all on them. Ain't nothing you can do. And you got the leprechaun running around on the sideline. I told you that dog was on probation. He show up in the stadium again with his doggone smelling like weed and creating all kind of problems. Hey, Notre Dame was dull yesterday. They was the only game I lost. I picked that all the other 5, the 5 games we picked. These dubs was the only one I lost. Let's move on to the next ball game. Now, we got number 2, Florida State shows up to Louisville, play number 10. Louisville. Now, did everybody see that ball game? You just need to score. Louisville beat the brakes off these boys, beat them 63-20. Florida State had never given up 60 points in a ball game in the history of the program. They've been playing football since 1947 down at Florida State. This is the worst beating they took in history. I mean, it was so bad that Louisville went out there, bruh, and beat them with firecrackers and a banana. Just went out there, didn't even have a real gun. Took no effort to beat the brakes off these boys. Lamar Jackson went to work on these boys. He was 13 of 20, 216 yards and a touchdown, and then he rushed for another 146 yards and 4 more touchdowns. This done in 3 weeks. He's got 18 touchdowns, bruh. 18. Might as well put him as the front runner of the Heisman Trophy. Here's the problem, though. Because you got a program like Louisville that's not accustomed to winning ball games like this and being at this level of scrutiny, this level of hype, because every day you're going to have ESPN, Fox, CBS, everybody going to be on campus talking to these boys. This is a situation where you can have a letdown the following week, regardless of who they playing, because everybody's all hyped up and thinking that, hey, this is brand new. Nobody's accustomed to this type of behavior. And you got a coach that got the propensity to get on a motorcycle with some young chick on the back. If you can keep Bobby Petrino off a motorcycle and away from the young chicks, This team can be dangerous coming out the ACC, going to the college football playoff. But it's still early, bruh. So we just got to sit in the cut and see. As long as you can keep Bobby Petrino's bike empty, don't put any gas in that gun, take the handlebars off, we going to be fine. Let's move on to the next ball game. Now, we got number 1, Alabama, goes down to play number 19, Ole Miss, down at the Grove, Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Now, here's the deal. For the last 2 years, Ole Miss have beat these boys. Chad Kelly been going to work on him. I mean, yesterday he went to work. He had 421 yards, 3 touchdowns, threw 1 dub pick. They was up 21-3 on these boys. And Alabama showed them, that they was superheroes all over again. Came back, beat these boys 48-43. You had Jalen Hurts had 158 yards in the air. Then he turned around and did another 146 on the ground. But the most impressive piece, once again, was the ground game. All these ball games, the winner of all these games has been the ground game. Alabama had 334 yards on the ground, bruh. When you got a dual threat quarterback, and then you got other running backs running the rock, you putting up 300 yards plus on the ground, ain't nothing you can do with them. But I will say that Ole Miss got dug when they went out there and pulled a Jeremy Tunsil, put the gas mask on. How you up 21-3 and lose a ball game and you at the crib? That's what happens when you're not accustomed to playing in big ball games. You're not accustomed to being on the other side. Alabama, they got everybody on the roster, 4 or 5-star athletes. They're not concerned about being down by 18 points because, hey, we've been here before. We know what we're doing. And they got Nick Saban. It is what it is. So let's move on to the next ball game. Now, this was the big ball game. This is the one I told you about. Number 3, Ohio State, goes down to Norman to play number 14, Oklahoma. Now, here's the deal. Before you even got in the building good and sat down and looked at your doggone program and took a bite out of your hot dog, Ohio State's up 14-0 on these boys. They came in, kicked in the door like they up in the doggone project, like they're the feds, 4 o'clock in the morning in the projects. Beat the brakes off these boys, 45-24. I told you in the preview that Bob Stoops and company was going to lay an egg, wet the bed, fall apart. And at this point, what is Oklahoma going to do with Bob Stoops? Now, for a long time, I've been saying, hey, I think it might be time to move part ways of Bob Stoops. Because here's the deal. It's not like the Don can't win. He winning 10, 11 ball games a year. The problem is he gets in the big ball games every year. Every time he's in a big ball game, he wet the bed, fall apart. Defensive secondary was atrocious last night. I know everybody's keep on saying it. When Noah Brown from Ohio State caught the ball on the back of the cat, he was in excellent position. He just didn't play the ball. All he got to do is turn around. The boy wouldn't have caught the ball. But he did that all night. The defensive backs, I want to know who's the doggone defensive back coach at Oklahoma? Elmer Fudd, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. Who is actually coaching these boys? They run up inside them all night, but they ain't playing the football when they run up outside of them. That's how you got the brakes beat off of them. J.T. Barrett goes for 14 of 20, 152 and 4 touchdowns. And you got the rush yards was ridiculous. You had Mike Weber, Curtis Samuel, and J.T. Barrett. These boys combined for 291 yards on the ground, bruh. Then you let Noah Brown gets out there. He ain't caught but 5 passes in his career. And then the Dunn show up and get 4 touchdowns in Norman. That Dunn gonna need counseling this week, bro. You know, he ain't been in no spotlight all week. In his whole career at Ohio State. Anybody even know that Dunn's name? Now all of a sudden he on every newspaper in America catching the ball behind a boy like this. And who was the doggone defensive back at Oklahoma that was out there getting abused all night? He was in excellent position, but the Dunn never turned around and played the ball when the boy... That's defensive back 101. When he look up, you look up. Turn around and play the ball at that point. Never did. Now also, I got to say this. Baker Mayfield was my man for a minute. Now, all of a sudden, this Dunn is trying to be... He's a fake Johnny Football. He run around trying to make plays, turn the ball over, can't outrun nobody. I mean, hey, Play the game, do what you got to do. But Oklahoma season is over. They might as well just go ahead, get up out of there. Call Bobby Petrino. Just make sure you don't have no motorcycle in the interview. Don't let that Dunn bring his motorcycle to the interview. Because Oklahoma can pay Bobby Petrino what boys at Louisville can't pay. So I know a whole lot of boys going to say I'm being blasphemous by saying it's time for Bob Stoops to leave. But for the last 4 or 5 years, it's been time for Bob Stoops to leave because he can't win the big game. Because what he's becoming is Mark Richt. Remember I used to say, Georgia is Mark Richt's Georgia. They're going to win 10 ball games a year, but they're going to lose the ball game they should lose. They're going to lose the ball game they shouldn't lose, and they're going to always lose the big game. Hey, it's your man Jay Graves Report from TheJayGravesReport.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter at JayGravesReport so you can holler at your boy.